The good old pressure cooker sits huffing and puffing on many stovetops in India. But what histories can we hear in its whistles? Saying something like cook for 3 CTs almost feels like a secret code that only Indians would understand. But the use of the pressure cooker in India is not as ubiquitous as we think. While it's great for the gas stove setups we have in urban areas, the pressure cooker doesn't make sense for 70% of rural Indians who still use firewoods or chulhas. Ironically, when the French physicist Denis Papin originally invented the pressure cooker in 1679, it was to help the poor extract maximum nutrition from the discarded remains of meat and vegetables. But when the modern handy form of the pressure cooker first entered India in the 1950s, its main market was the emerging middle class, to whom the device was pitched as nothing short of a scientific marvel. It used modern hydraulics to make cooking simpler, it used much less cooking fuel, and most importantly, it saved time. Advertisers wanted this science to appeal to the rational thinking husbands who would then convince their wives. However, in the very initial years, publicizing and explaining the product wasn't that easy. Manufacturers had to travel to the interiors of the country with vans and projectors, which played demo films teaching people how to use the device. Companies even invested in hiring test kitchen teams whose job was to tailor Indian recipes to the pressure cooker so they could reassure customers that it made sense for Indian cooking. By the 1960s, with these efforts, the cult of the pressure cooker began to grow. Hawkins pressure cooker! And it became a symbol of progress and development. In fact, in 1969, it was even used to deliver a family planning message in favor of the 2-child families. Buy this 10-liter pressure cooker, the perfect size for the perfect sized family. In 1971, Finance Minister Y.B. Chavan's decision to increase the tax on pressure cookers to improve state revenue, clubbing the pressure cooker with commodities of so-called high living like lipsticks, playing cards and cameras, generated a huge controversy. He was heavily criticized, with MPs protesting that pressure cookers were a necessity, both for nutrition and the economy. And even when this issue was resolved, a strange phenomena began impacting sales. Some people's pressure cookers mysteriously bursting. Because it uses heat and pressure packed into a metal device, the pressure cooker has all the properties of a good explosive device. In extreme cases, this violent potential has even been used to make crude bombs for terrorist attacks. In fact, the earliest record of a pressure cooker bomb is from New York in 1976, and more recently, it has also been used in the tragic Mumbai train blasts of 2006 and the Boston Marathon bombings in 2013. But obviously, when Indian homemakers in the 70s were using pressure cookers to make their regular dal or sabzi, they weren't trying to commit mass murder. And domestic pressure cookers did have some safety measures in place. So the fact that pressure cookers were bursting at random was totally inexplicable. Advertisements doubled down to emphasize the device's safety, and the famous tagline
"जो बीवी से सचमुच करते प्यार, वो प्रेस्टीज से कैसे करें इनकार"
was drafted to convey the importance of buying a good quality pressure cooker which came equipped with the latest GRS. By highlighting the BV or the wife as the primary user of the pressure cooker, this tagline fit with the earlier patterns of advertising from the West, where the pressure cooker is either seen as the perfect gift for a thoughtful man to give to a woman, or a modern essential that any self-respecting woman must have. Even today, the pressure cooker is advertised along the same lines, as a woman's product, which makes it seem like if a woman had the right gadgets, all their housework would be a breeze. Though there may be commercials trying to bajao the badlav ki seeti by showing men actually using the pressure cooker, ads like that are few and far between. We found literally one.
You cook ke sang badlav ki seeti bajao.
But despite the cringy advertising and volatile past, the practical advantages of the pressure cooker today cannot be beaten, especially in urban India. That's why most Indians living outside India lug their pressure cookers with them wherever they go. In fact, companies that form India's 2,000 crore pressure cooker industry now export to roughly 122 countries and territories abroad. As Indians continue to reinvent and innovate with their uses of the pressure cooker, some mundane and others bizarre, we are reminded of how one object can take on different roles. Some of us might be pressure cooker pros, others still afraid of the furious whistle. Some of us may be learning to use it literally, and others struggling with the psychological pressure cooker that is life. No matter the story, this solid device will remain a constant. Because as we know too well, the warranty lasts a lifetime.